So good evening, good evening, good evening. God bless you. You are watching Fatal Distractions. Let's chat. Want you to invite someone, share, like those of you that catch it in the replay. I'm so excited because tonight I have a very special guest. Her name is Miss Deria Brown. Welcome to the show, Deria.
Hey, oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here tonight. I'm pumped up. It's like 9 p.m. where I live. Let's work through the night. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's without your Starbucks cup even, huh? Without Starbucks, huh? Well, good. Well, the reason I have Miss Deria on tonight, I've been working with a group of young ladies who are entrepreneurs. And for those of you that have ever thought about starting a business, but tonight is your night, I have Miss Deria Brown has not one, not two, but three Glam Box boutique location. And so I'm so excited. So we're going to dive right in. Deria, one of the things people all, I kind of dabbled a little bit. I would say 100 years ago, we had a boutique with accessories and things. Well, I realized quickly that was not for me because I didn't, I love accessories and I love shopping for them at market, but I didn't want to sit still and be in the store. That was just too slow paced for me. But my husband loved it because he loves money and he loves doing things like that. So he actually worked the store during the day and I was still working corporate. So for me, it was more like a hobby, and it must say it was a short hobby. It didn't last long. So how did you get started? What is the history of how did you actually get started?
All right. Well, I've always loved shopping in boutiques. I like that uniqueness. I love the vibe of boutiques and the upscale. So it started off with that. And my husband and I, we renewed our vows after 15 years. And we took a honeymoon. We weren't able to financially do that when we first got married. So 15 years later, we went on our honeymoon to Myrtle Beach. And we were driving down the street and there was this boutique. It's called Foxy Lady. And he said, do you want to go in there? And I'm like, yes, because he never shops with me. He never wanted to. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to go in. And I thought he was just going to do his usual, sit in the car. And he came in and he took it all in. It was one of the most beautiful shops in Myrtle Beach. And when we were walking out, he said, would you like to own something like this? And I said, yes.
Wow.
And so we deep dived in. I would not recommend anybody start like that. On just a hunch, and then all of a sudden 3 or 4 years, $50,000 investment in. It's like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I actually have to be a business owner and a CEO. So incredible lesson learned, but I started with passion.
So it kind of went out on me, so I can't hear you. So I don't know what I have to say. Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, great. Yeah, I started with passion and then kind of caught up with the business acumen later.
Wow. So how long did it take? So how did you actually get started? You went into the store, you wanted to start a business. And I know you have one of the most, I don't know if she helped or not, but one of the most incredible coaches that I just love.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I just love them. Well, my husband said I love every woman, not really. But they didn't adopt me. I just decided to put myself in the Haskell family, So
yes.
So they're just amazing. So tell us a little bit more for those that's getting started, not to dive in, but just kind of for someone that's getting started that has a passion but don't know where to start.
Right. My mentor, Pastor Monica Haskell, she has been mentoring me since 2009. And ironically, the first things that we talked about in mentoring session, none of it was what I'm doing right now. She helped me with systems and how to get myself together. And she said, you know what? The money is the last thing to come. You need a success system. So over the last 11 or so years, we've been talking success systems. The good thing about a success system is you can drop any idea into it and make money. Anything. You can change the product if you don't change the pattern of success. So I learned the success system first of all. And here's what it was. I needed to become a CEO, someone that could handle competing priorities, not a bunch of tasks, competing priorities. That's when you're doing something that everything is important. I always encourage young women and men who want to launch a business. There's a website. It's called glassdoor.com. And what I advise them to do is go to that website, type in, you know how you're looking for a job. It's a job search site.
Yes, it is.
Type in CEO and pull up the requirements.
Oh my.
For the companies that are hiring CEOs, type that in. Pull up the requirements. Do you at all mirror that person? Do you have some of the daily tasks in your schedule, in your business, that the top paying companies in the world are looking for from their CEOs? And when I did that, I noticed that I wasn't doing the activities that I needed to do to be successful at that level. So I had to change my daily activities. First of all, you got to have a plan, and it's got to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is how we're going to start. This is where we're going to feel profitable. And this is how I'm getting out of this.
Wow.
I'm either selling it or it's a legacy brand and I'm bringing my children on. However, but every business idea, every strategy needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so you just start with planning that out. How do I want to start? Where do I want to start? What is the middle? What's profitability? And how long realistically am I going to do this?
Wow, now I just learned a whole lot right there for myself. Like I said, because I'm very familiar with Glassdoor because my background is human resources. So I know about, like you said, recruiting and so forth on Glassdoor. But that is so good. So I need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that, and thinking about that, that would work for just about anything because I recently launched a nonprofit organization. So I need to do, I need to go back to the drawing board. I'll either have you coach me, one of the two, on that beginning, all of that. Yeah, because the young ladies that I've been talking to, they, have an idea. They've gone out and bought merchandise. Some of them have actually gone and got a little loan. But I don't know if they actually, like you said, have thought through that process, because oftentimes we talk about my business structure, going to go get a name and all the tax documents and those things that make the business legal, but we never think about it on that level that you just mentioned, the beginning, the middle, and the end. So that's powerful right there.
And most people aren't comfortable with the most productive activity of an entrepreneur, and that's selling. Most of our time is spent strategizing on how to sell merchandise, get more customers. The whole the business documents, the setup, all of that, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to get in business. I think that's why people jump in, because it's not very difficult to get in business. It's more difficult to stay in business, and it's more difficult to turn a profit in business. Now, how you stay in and how do you turn a profit? Do you want to deep dive into that really quickly? Or?
Sure. Yes, okay. Of course.
So let's talk about your people. Everybody has a tribe that they can sell anything to. I can sell white gloves to a woman that just spilled a bottle of ketchup. I mean, I can sell. If she's in my tribe, if she is in some business logic models call it model customer, your model customer, those people that you speak to. Now, it took me the longest time to curate my ideal customer and have those people around me and readily be able to sell to them. Now, normally your ideal customer is just like you, customer, not mentee, not coaching client, customer, retail sales customer, because you have the most knowledge about who you are. I don't sell club clothes. So, I don't have knowledge on that. So my ideal customer is either male or female. Now, your ideal customer is never everyone. You know how we can get desperate and be like, I'll sell this to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my customer's everybody.
Yeah, that's not a good strategy, because it's like screaming in the middle of an ocean. Who's going to hear you? So you have to speak very specifically. My ideal customer is woman, age 32 to 54. Obviously, there's some latitude on top of that and on bottom of that, but I speak very well to those. My ideal customer is going on date night with her husband. She needs something to wear to that. She's very successful. She has frequent speaking engagements. She's elevated, total rock star. That's my ideal customer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know with my branding strategy, the items that I'm bringing in to assist her. Okay. And I stay right in my lane with that, right in my lane. So that's my people. Your people is a age group, a demographic, some kind of model that you can speak to and that will listen to you, that will actually listen back, take your advice and buy your product. There is a book that I love and it really changed my life. I actually first read it. Tim Ferriss put it in one of his books. I didn't know it was a whole book on it. You don't need the whole book. You just need to know this. And the guy said, I can't think of his name. The book is across the room. He said, you don't need 10,000 customers. All you need is 1,000 true fans.
Wow.
1,000 true fans. So I'm speaking to everybody in business. You don't need 10,000 customers. You don't need 1 million people. You need 1,000 true fans or less if your product costs a little more. So the best way that I know right now to speak to your customer base, to get in front of your tribe frequently and often is a VIP Facebook group. That's the absolute, that's the best way. Now, these are nuggets I'm giving out right now. These are money strategies right now. Yeah. Take it. Hey, if you hear them, take them, do them, implement it, stay up late tonight and do it. VIP Facebook customer group, get it started now. And you don't necessarily mass invite everyone, but you put your best material, your best curated collections, your best you. That's your space to be authentic and real. In our VIP Glam VIP boutique Facebook, we have 613 customers.
Wow, that's good.
That's different than just having people in a group.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal is only 1,000. That's all. I know how much money 600 people can spend in a month. I know the product that I can bring to them. So that's a very simple strategy of finding your people.
Wow, that's good. Now, what about those that want a storefront?
Mm-hmm. Brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
Brick and mortar, I have 3 stores. Brick and mortar is tough.
Yes.
There ain't nothing like sitting there all day and nobody come in. Okay, that's soul crushing. Okay, and it's expensive. I don't work at my stores either. I can't be both CE. Now, you pay a CEO a certain amount and you pay the cashier a certain amount. Mm-hmm. They're not the same roles. If I make myself a cashier for, let's say, $12 or $13 an hour, I can't think on that level to keep the businesses running. Mm-hmm. So I don't work. I do a couple hours in the downtown store a week just to check the vibe, get the people patterns, all of that. And then we have other gals that come in. So I stay free so I can buy, I can do marketing, and I can strategize. The very best business model does not have the owner behind the counter for 6, 8, 10 hours a day. That's where business owners go to die.
Right.
Behind the counter, because they can't do the other tasks. They just can't do it. So brick and mortar. For brick and mortar, here's my recommendation. Already have, and I wish I had known, I opened the first store in 2016. And the best place to open a boutique, a retail shop, a bakery is near other shops.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Don't put yourself out where you don't want nobody around you. You don't want anybody to steal your ideas and your clothes. We're all buying this, we all, sourcing and have to fight to be competitive. The best place for a boutique to be is next door to another boutique. Hands down. And the reason why, and they don't have to exactly be the same. The best place for me, there's an accessory store 2 doors down. It's awesome because people come, they park once, and they make a day of it. There's a restaurant over there. So they're going to have lunch and they're going to shop. So pick your, if you're wanting to do brick and mortar, pick your location wisely, make sure you're in a retail district, and make sure you are getting the smallest square footage humanly possible. Personally, I recommend 700 to 900 square feet, if that. And you want to know why?
Why?
Because it is hard to fill up square footage with product.
Mm-hmm.
It is difficult to keep a store filled up with new rotating product. And the smaller it is, it's always going to look full. So that helps with perception, that helps with customers, and you'll be able to rotate and change it around. The expenses are going to be manageable, incredibly manageable. You're going to be able to fill it up. I mean, you can put in little chairs and a sitting area to kind of, facade out your space. But just starting out, don't let nobody get you 2,000 square foot. Do you know how much 2,000 square foot? There's a thing in business, in retail, it's called price per square foot. Uh-huh. And that's how much money we need to be making for each square foot. And that's how much, and then conversely, how much inventory needs to be in there. A 2,000 square foot store is going to be 50 G's in inventory. It's just not worth it. Starting out.
Wow. That's good, because, and it's amazing you said that, because our little boutique, there was a salon back in Little Rock. I'm not sure if they still have that concept. It was a salon that had a concept we were in the salon, but it was a large salon that had the hairdressers, and all the stations were in the center of the floor. So around the perimeters were small suites, and in those suites, we individuals rented those for retail. And so, like you said, we were in a tiny space, but we were visible because it probably had 12 hairdressers in there. So, so we had the foot traffic, even though we weren't next door to a boutique. Well, we were, because the guy next door, sold ties, sold men accessories and things, and we sold ladies accessories. So there were different things that were going on in there. And like you said, that was a great start without having a large overhead. And I didn't even know that. That was just someone had a concept, we jumped on it and decided to try it, and we sold women's accessories. So that was, like I said, that was a great idea, and I didn't know it just listening to you about the square footage.
Wow. One of my stores is inside of a salon.
And how does it do? Does it do
amazing.
Well?
It does amazing. We're right in the center of it. It's called store-in-store model, just like Barnes & Noble is inside. I mean, just like Starbucks is inside of Barnes & Noble. Subway is inside Walmart. They call it sometimes Parasite Host.
What an awful name.
Yeah, but it's a business model, but you feed off of the traffic of another. Expenses are low in that particular store. I don't have any overhead or expenses. There's no, we're all sharing the same heat. I don't need water. They check out at the front desk of the salon. So absolutely, you bring up an excellent point. If you can parasite host or store in store off of somebody's proven foot traffic, people will tell you, yeah, you're going to do so well here. And I would advise you to just kind of sit back, hang out in the parking lot and check it out yourself, because people want to, sell spaces, but that's an excellent starter business model.
Right. It was too boring. Like I said, my husband loved it because he's a fisherman. So he's used to sitting and waiting for that fish to bite. Not me. I'm like, it was just too much. It was too slow. And then I was terrible when I went to market, because I would buy an item for me, an item for the store, and he'd look, why do we have all of these, well, I've got to represent, so that was one of my challenges. So so turning the corner a little bit, how has the pandemic, for those of you that are watching, you're watching Fatal Distractions, Let's Chat. I'm your host, Gretchen Dixon, with Deria Brown, who is the owner of a Glam Box Boutique, actually located in Flint, Michigan currently. So how has what have you done differently in this pandemic season?
And the dog
tell Coco I said hi. I put Binky out of the room. So
okay, you did. Yeah, I didn't put Coco out. I thought she was going to be good. The pandemic shifted retail, and we will be recovering in retail at least until 2023. 2022, 2023.
That's a long time.
brick and mortar retail. It's lagging behind. What saved me and what shifted me was I pivoted to online. We are just beginning to see our online does 3 to 1 what the retail stores do.
Wow.
And it is phenomenal. I don't know that consumers will fully return. I know that people will never stop physically wanting to go to the store, but I know that we have to put thought into our stores and our experiences. Now they want a whole grandiose experience when they decide to walk into a store, when they get dressed and go out. There are still some cities that have not recovered from foot traffic. That whole model, stay home, stay safe, was murder to retail stores because people took that literally and they don't go into the stores. So we saw losses, hemorrhaging, contraction in our retail stores, 50-60% loss.
Wow.
Which we made up online. So you got one, taking care of the other. Come on, Coco. Come on, Coco. So you got one taking care of the other. So I would encourage retailers right now, those who want to start any type of shop, any type of business. And I waited until the pandemic to launch fully online. And I should have done that. It's tandem. It's both. If you're going to do brick and mortar, do it micro, small, tiny, have an experience wrapped around it. Make sure you get a couch in there. You're having some type of event or experience that the customers can kind of take in, and a consistent aesthetic. But then also something online. Our customers buy online and pick it up in the store, pick it up at the curb, So now we've modified ourselves to be servant to the customer. We serve them in such a way that people never got served in retail before. Even in food service industries, people never got their food brought to the curb for them like they do now.
Yes.
So we are availing ourselves to the customer. And so what that does in the consumer, you guys, what's that doing to your consumer is their expectation of customer service now is so high. You're going to bring it to me. It's going to be beautifully wrapped. It's going to be to my convenient. Customer service has just, those companies that will survive throughout the pandemic and make an adjustment will have to ride a rocket to the moon to complete a customer service experience. Your customer service experience does not end until you can get a 5-star review. People can make or break you because, online, people can make or break you now there too. So we are serving in a capacity that I have never seen before.
Wow. And I love it. I heard that, I'm a customer.
Thank you.
But you do porch pickup. I've heard, I think porch deliveries, I hear you talk about. I know I'm in Texas and you're Michigan, so I get packages all the way from Michigan. So that's a great thing. And it's amazing that you said that you should have done online sooner, because I really, if we notice the paparazzi model, those ladies that sell paparazzi, they've been doing lives. And, and that was one reason I said my shyness is like, no, I can't do that. But that's a way to pivot. And I've noticed that you have your online show or sales when you're showing your fashion. It's just some of us, it's in a different time zone. We catch it too late, but and by then you're sold out. But it's a great model for the young entrepreneurs. What nugget would you give them? One, I heard you say, don't be careful about the brick and mortar, and that the business paperwork, all of that comes after. So for someone that's started, you've given so many nuggets about the glass door, and just so with some young, because I deal with I guess you call them millennials, because they're in their late 20s, early 30s that are wanting to launch their businesses.
Business is tough. It's competitive. Don't let the internet rush you. You can look online, you can see me, and we went from scratch to 6 figures last year.
That's a blessing.
I've been in business for 5 years. that is a lot of work. And so some people aren't seeing how much work goes into owning a business. It's a sacrifice. So the first thing I would say is be prepared to work. There is no such thing as overnight success. Very rarely do people get lucky, but it's difficult to sustain. Just think about how long you've been working at your niche and branding and evolving and adding this and doing that. And that consistency eventually pays off. You will make money if you don't quit. You will. It's inevitable. It's a principle. So number one, be prepared to work. I have a work ethic that's really strong, and I put in work. There's no way of getting around that. There's nothing in the beginning. There's not a whole lot of things you can outsource when you're at the foundation, because you got to build your brand. Secondly, be aware of pricing. It's might be easy to try to get in and be competitive and lowball your business. It is so hard to raise prices after you have been undercutting yourself.
Oh, wow.
Make sure you price out your value. You got to know your value. You have to know it. Those $19.99 jumpsuits. Hey, you got to understand business. You have to understand margins. You got to know, I can't buy something for $10 and sell it for $20. That's not a good business model.
Right.
Yeah. So pricing, and hold to it. Bring in customer quality, bring in the right products for your tribe, for your people, for your ideal customer, for where your ladies or men or your accessories or your handbag wearers bring in what they need for where they're going and how they're living, and price it accordingly. I could have made so much more money in the beginning if I hadn't have been afraid to mark the merch exactly how it needed to be sold, thinking somehow if I discounted myself, people would be loyal to my brand. They would be regular customers. And it's a myth. People want quality. People want quality. And most of the new boutique shop retail owners that I know do not understand clothing. They don't know fabric. They don't know fabric. They don't know cut. They don't know seams. They just know, I think I can sell this. So you have to become an expert. And once you continue to do that, you elevate your brand, and you can also sustain your prices, because you can explain why this is going to cost you $79. I'm going to tell you about a double seam and a weighted hemline and all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
And you're going to give me my money and it's going to last for 10 years. I'm going to tell you how to care for the garment. I'm going to be passionate about that. And so those are the two things that I would definitely say. Be prepared to work and become an expert so that you can get paid what you're worth.
Wow, that's good. So you're saying, I say I want to be my own boss. So that doesn't mean that I get to come in, today I may sleep in and come in about noon, and then, it's spring break. I'm just going to take off for a week and do spring break, because I'm my own boss. So when you talk about work ethics, is that kind of how you do it? There's, or
I work hours. I mean, my whole thing is, Deria, can you count on you? I don't have another job. So that's 6 figures. That was my money. I don't have another job. I start and I end at a certain time. I use a planner and I go through and I get things done. I adhere to the Glassdoor daily activities of a CEO. I look at that stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be spending this amount of time in marketing, this amount of time doing that. So I adhere to that. And those things get results. Think about it. On those days where you are your most productive, I mean, isn't it incredible how you manifest opportunity from that? And it's like, why don't I do this all the time? Why don't I, all of a sudden you get asked to speak, and you've just been busying, doing what you need to do, taking your pictures, posting, being consistent. All of a sudden opportunity comes. Opportunity comes to the prepared. It's a principle. And so I work, if my husband don't stop me, he's my filter. I thank God for him. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. If he doesn't stop me, I will work 12 hours a day. That's not good. Okay.
Yeah.
But 5 to 6 hours of uninterrupted focused time daily can generate 5 to 6 figures annually.
Oh, that's good.
5 to 6 hours of focused time daily can generate 5 to 6 figures annually, especially if inside of those 5 or 6 hours, you're doing marketing, you're doing, you're not on Facebook, not watching, silly videos. 5 or 6 hours, marketing, strategy, meeting with my team, writing manuals, audits, making sales calls, on the phone with vendors. That generates the most money for me.
Wow. It sounds like a lot. I never thought about it until you said that you cannot work your business and be the CEO, because it makes sense, because you've got to market it and all those other things. So how did you do that though in the beginning? Like for myself, as I said, I started a nonprofit organization, and I am all of those things that you said, because at this moment I have not hired a staff, but I see the need. So what I have been doing is scheduling days for marketing or meetings or things like that. So how did you do it yourself in the beginning before you had a staff?
With the retail shop, I wrote in my business model, and I started my startup capital included somebody working minimum wage. So that was retail. That was a business model from the beginning. Minimum wage at that time, I think, was like $7 or $8. So literally, I was giving somebody $56 a day that was making several hundred. So it made sense. On the nonprofit side, because I have a nonprofit called Sparkle Pink Club for Girls. And so I'm right there with you with that. My life changed with that the moment I asked for help. You have to be able to passionately articulate the goal of your nonprofit to get people to come on board and do it for future benefit. Now, right now with the nonprofit, I have 2 people that help me. I knew the beginning, the middle, and the end of my nonprofit. I knew because I work with girls, so I know who my successor is. I know the young lady that I'm training. I will be working with her for 10 years, and then she's going to take over. So I know that. So she's committed and obligated, and she doesn't get paid. Her work is she's in it for the long haul. Yeah, I've had her since she was in club, since she was 6 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I've had her for maybe 13 years now. And so just recently with the nonprofit, I just called up a couple people and shared the vision. And I asked for an hour a week of their life. Can you volunteer an hour a week? Depending on person. And 100% people said yes. Now, here's the deal with feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you need help. You have to qualify. I'm talking to everybody out there that has a passion, business, profit, nonprofit. You have to qualify for help. You have to be organized, strategized, and planned so far in advance that you can hand off to help a full project. Because some people say, I need somebody to help me. I need somebody. Well, what do they need to do? What are you going to have them do on a daily basis? What's their task? When is it going to be done? How much time is it going to take? What's the follow-up? So most people, so your time or someone in your position's time is well spent coming up with framework and different projects that you can, get somebody to volunteer and do. Say, this is a 40-minute project. I've gotten everything written up. I just need, or I need you to brainstorm 10 ways for us to get 20 partners. Okay. That's your project. Okay, can you do that for me? Can you make those calls and just email the results? Done and done. Now, now we're looking back at you. Now it's back on you. Once you get the data back, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to take action? Are you going to take the next step? Are you going to utilize their information and get the 20 partners? If you do, they are going to be in awe of you. You valued what they did. you utilized it and you got the results you said you would get. You got to volunteer for life. Now you can give them another one. So sometimes help can be a blessing and a curse. If they do the assignments and the work, it generates more work for you, the decision maker.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to be the bottleneck of your brand, where now I have all the information, I have everything I need. Now it starts and ends with me, and I can't, or I haven't taken the next steps, or I get overwhelmed with
Mm-hmm.
everything that needs to be done. You need an assistant. Assistant is a strong word for somebody just helping 1 or 2 hours a week. You have so much influence, Ms. Virtual, so much vision. That's an easy phone call for you. There's so many people that look up to you, young women that will gladly make some phone calls for you, gather some data for you, and email it to you. And you just, with your CEO self, get up, open up your report, and take action.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Oh my goodness.
I know.
I just said all the details, like you said, that all the little things, the details. This is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do coaching or mentoring or something along those lines for people that's trying to get to where you are?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because this is a lot of information. But do you have do you have a group? Do you have? I know one time you had you were doing some training or something. It seemed like for so many weeks.
Oh my gosh.
So do you have something? Because I'm sure that people are going to want to know. Okay, how can I connect with her? What do I do? She's throwing all this at me. Where do I go with all this? So do you? Yeah. Is that another piece of what you're doing?
Yeah, Boutique Forex. And Boutique Forex starts back up, I think, in May. And it's 4 power-packed weeks of intense training on how to launch and build a brand, a successful retail shop, online or in person. And so the viewers can just leave a comment, leave information in the comment, and we'll follow up with you on that. I don't do coaching, just general mindset coaching. I don't do that. Pastor Monica does an excellent job of mindset coaching in PM University, and I would definitely recommend the entry-level program on that. I am very niche right now with retail store and boutique owners, because I know I can take them from scratch to 6 figures if they're willing to do the work. And just like you're saying, it's a lot of work. It's a lot. And it's not for everybody. It's not. Okay, Coco.
And it's one of those things, like you said, it's ethics, because I remember when I left corporate America, the one thing that the Holy Spirit impressed upon me, that I had to get up like I was still going into the office.
Right.
So I still get up early. I don't sleep in. I still have a routine. And I said, I have set office hours that, that I do, because I try to live a balanced life as much as possible by, cutting things off by 5 or 6. So I have that downtime. So I have some me time. I still take that time to go and get a massage or the pedicure and all of that. So I still try to do self-care for myself, but also, since I'm married and I'm a parent and a grandparent, although my children are adults, I still make it a priority that I'm not so busy doing all my assignments that I don't take time for my family, because my first assignment is my family, whether it's ministry, because without them, I wouldn't be doing some of the things I'm doing. So so that's why for me, I try to have set office hours and days off and things like that. But I'm flexible. And the thing I like most is that working for myself, it is challenging, but I love what PM said. I have multiplied grace to do this. The God has already placed that in me, but I have to learn how to navigate the waters and manage my time well. It's very important to manage time well when you work for yourself and be organized.
And that's the difference between success and failure. And then obviously success, failure, and then there's that middle road where I know I could be doing more. And that's time management. And that's definitely getting up, getting dressed, and even all the Zoom that we're doing and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I have to put on shoes when I I can't, I have to do, the whole, some people do Zoom and they're just from the waist up.
Uh-huh.
I have those shoes. It all helps me with my mindset, getting up,
Mm-hmm.
getting going, grabbing a cup of coffee, and getting into my success routine, because I am in complete control of how much money I make.
Mm-hmm.
So are you. So is everyone. It's me producing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the worst things that I could think of is having all this potential and not really pushing myself to see how far I could go. That to me would be a regret. And so I love what you said about balance. I love it. The thing for the entrepreneur is balancing out, not taking too much time and getting in the work. So on Sunday night, I do my schedule for the week on Sunday night, and I block up. I don't know, Coco, it's raining here, and she's having trouble with the rain. So I block out my time of work first for the week, and then I earn all those extra things that I do by getting my work done. So it's always going to be a balance. It is not. I hope I'm not making this sound like it's easy, because it's not. I would love to sleep in. My husband is fine. He's warm. In the morning, I would love to sleep in most
Mm-hmm.
days, but vision compels me to get up and take action.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's so important. So this has been so good, Deria. Like I said, I'm ready to sign up for something. So I was like, oh my goodness. Because I'm organized, but I remember I was taking a class called Business Roadmap, and I was stuck at the part where my assignment was to do a schedule. Well, I have my own schedule, but and this particular instructor is someone that the Fortune 500 companies hire her to come in and help them. And so first thing she told me, I needed a schedule. Well, I thought I had a schedule. She's like, no, that I needed to write down the time. Like, when you work for corporate, you may be assigned a lunch hour. You're going to go to lunch most days, 12 to 1 or whatever. So that was one of the things that she told me, that I need to have a schedule. So I was stuck at that being detailed.
Okay.
But this is really good though. Oh my goodness, so much information.
I hope I wasn't too technical, but I want to help. And a lot of people are struggling because they know they got something inside of them, and they know that can be great. They just don't know that next step to take. So I don't mind being generous with information and helping someone, if I can, to take that next step so they can be successful.
But we all, whether I'm having a boutique or not, we all need to sign up for your Forex boot camp.
Yeah. Yep. Boutique Forex. They can email me, deriabrown@gmail.com. I would love to have them send them over the information, and just see how far we could go. Online selling, sales, we're just at the beginning of all the money that could be made. So we can find something and sell it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And then that's when you talk about and doing that kind of a discovery sessions, when you talk about the initial investment and so forth, and the commitment to doing that. Because when you said boot camp, I envision the old show Gomer Pyle, people running through the mud with some chutes and stuff on the back and climbing over stuff. But this is, like you said, boot camp. So this is going to be intense. You're not going to baby me. You just going to. And then teach you how to make a profit. The end game is profit. We're in business to make money. Yes, because that's one thing Pastor Monica said, if you're not, it's a hobby. She said it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Wow. So she used to get onto us and said we were treating our business like a hobby. So I've been guilty of that a few times. So so yeah, that's it. I want to thank you again so much, Deria. So if someone wants to connect with you or reach out to you, how can they do that before we close?
Oh, good. My email is just like my name, deriabrown@gmail.com. I'd love to shoot me a quick email. I can get you on our Boutique Forex waiting list. That class starts at the beginning of May. It's going to be amazing, powerful. There's also a Facebook group that goes along with it that they have access to me. They can ask me anything about retail sales, boutique shop, bakery, pet shop, ownership, both brick and mortar and online. And I can't wait. I'm excited.
Wow. Wow. Well, now you've heard it. You've been watching Fatal Distractions. Thank you again, Deria, for coming on. It's always such a pleasure. And I'll be praying about that Forex. I don't want to retail, but I'm sure I need some help with this nonprofit though. So I'm sure it can, the same tools can apply for the nonprofit as well. So thank you again for being on. And for those of you that are watching, we'll see us again next week. You've been watching Fatal Distractions. Let's chat. Have a good night, ladies. Good night.
Bye.